Welcome to Lake Camera Action. I'm your host, Austin Lake Coppernoll. In case you didn't know, Lake Camera Action is a video podcast of sorts in which the opinions of MG staff and students, most namely, are brought out about movies and movies that have come out this year and in years past. Now this next bit that I'm going to be presenting over the span of the next 5 days, one question at a time, is a bit that I like to call Oscar Picks. And it consists of 5 different questions that I went around asking random people in the school to respond to, and some of the best responses have been compiled for your entertainment and enjoyment. And so, without further ado, I will start by reading off to you the first question that we have for today. And so the question of the day is, the Oscar nominees are going to be released in the coming weeks. Which movies have you seen so far this year that you think will make the list for Best Picture, Actor, Screenplay, etc.? And so some of the best answers and responses that we came up with over the past few weeks are now as follows.
Not Gravity, no.
Yeah, World War Z could win Best Picture. You know, they had a lot of good animation stuff with the zombies and some other great shots.
Drive?
Drive actually came out 2 years ago, so which would you say from this year?
Only God Forgives.
Okay.
Only God Forgives.
Gravity.
Okay.
That's probably out there somewhere. Morgan Freeman was in there. Special effects and stuff. That was great.
I have not seen any movies this year.
Oh man. Can you repeat the question?
Probably The Lone Ranger. That was a pretty funny movie, and it had a lot of action scenes. It was a good movie, I thought.
Hangover. Zach Galifianakis is pretty good. He's always a very charmer. Trying to look like him a little bit.
There's a lot of movies out there. I mean, there's The Great Gatsby, Gravity, Bad Grandpa, The Conjuring. I mean, there's just so many movies to pick from. I couldn't choose.
That's what the old people do. I remember. I think I saw that. Maybe I saw the first one. We'll go with Red 2.
The Great Gatsby for Leo's performance, even though he won't win, of course.
Just Rush, that's it.
I went to see The Butler, and I would say that was a really outstanding film.
I think Gravity was pretty good. Sandra Bullock was really good in that movie. I think she did a really good job portraying the character that she had.
Grown Ups 2, that should be on the list for best actor.
I saw a lot of cartoon movies. I saw Turbo, which I thought was going to be terrible, and it wasn't that bad. I saw Despicable Me 2. So based on those, I'd say best actor would have to be Steve Carell in Despicable Me 2.
Tom Hanks should be Best Actor because he's a really good actor.
You haven't seen Captain Phillips, but he should win?
Maybe.
Okay.
Based on the previews, it looks pretty good. Tom Hanks is a great actor.
The Conjuring, the female lead was really good.
I liked World War Z.
I think they all should win.
The only movie I've seen is Man of Steel, so probably that one.
I think The Croods should be on there. That's a definite give me.
Best Picture, Gravity, with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. Phenomenal piece.
Welcome back to day 2 of Lake Camera Action's exclusive MG Oscar Picks bit. Today's question of the day is, of the Oscar winners for Best Picture in the last 10 years, which are your favorites and why? And the list is as follows. Argo for 2012, The Artist for 2011, The King's Speech for 2010, The Hurt Locker for 2009, Slumdog Millionaire for 2008, No Country for Old Men in 2007, The Departed for 2006, Crash for 2005, $1 Million Baby for 2004, and Lord of the Rings Return of the King for 2003.
There was, however, another one that you mentioned there, a Coen Brothers film, that No Country for Old Men. Absolutely brilliant film, brilliant acting, brilliant writing, and the Coen Brothers, to me, are some of the best filmmakers out there.
I thought No Country for Old Men was super brutal, but really awesome film techniques. Ooh, very gory film, though.
Well, The Lord of the Rings, because the Lord of the Rings series has always been good.
Loved Crash. I thought that was so complex, the relationships, and I just thought it was quite deep. I keep wanting my psychology classes to choose it as their end of the year movie.
Crash was okay. We're gonna have to go with, what was the question? I'll go with Lord of the Rings.
Argo.
Lord of the Rings.
I would say Lord of the Rings was very historical.
I liked Argo, Slumdog Millionaire, because it was full of wonderful things.
I saw Slumdog Millionaire like once. That was pretty good. Was it pretty slummy?
I would say The Departed because it has to do with my cousins out in Boston. Hey guys.
The Hurt Locker is my favorite because it was really intense movie and it was really well played. I really enjoyed watching it.
I'm thinking Slumdog Millionaire. It's a really good picture. It's really intense at some parts. So.
Slumdog Millionaire was really well executed, a passionate story.
Well, the only movie out of those I've seen is Slumdog Millionaire, and that was good, so I'm gonna have to go with that.
I don't know, they're all okay. I don't really have a favorite out of those, none of them are that good, let's be honest. Lord of the Rings is good, but it shouldn't have been made into a movie, it should have remained books, as it was intended.
Lord of the Rings and Return of the King, because it's probably the most action-filled one, and it's kind of like sci-fi-ish.
My two favorites out of that group would be Argo and No Country, was it No Blood, No Country? Wait, No Country for Old Men. I thought that was actually the better one of the three because I like the gore aspect of it. It was interesting, kind of how they set the scene back then. But I don't remember that one that well though.
I might have to go with The Artist.
The Hurt Locker was a really touching story that they executed well. They pursued the topic without really overexposing anything or spending too much time.
The Departed was my favorite from the past few years. I always like Scorsese. I think he's got like a grittiness to his films that you usually, it's a little disturbing, but it just has a realness that I often feel that a lot of movies miss.
I'd probably say The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, because that's the only one I've seen. I just like all the Lord of the Rings movie. I just think like they're really long, especially the extended editions, but I don't know, it's a really good story.
I liked Lord of the Rings, Return of the King because, I've watched a lot of the trilogy and, that was a good movie. They were well produced.
Well, all the Lord of the Rings movies were just fantastic. I have been a fan of the books for 30 years, and I did not believe that they could possibly pull those books off on the screen, and Peter Jackson did so. I was in love with those films from the first 2 minutes, and I was ready to hate those films. So anything Jackson did that won an Academy Award was absolutely top-notch, first-rate.
Oh, I really like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. That whole series is definitely one of my top favorite movie series, so yeah.
Thank you, loyal fans, for coming back to Day 3 of Light Camera Action's exclusive Oscar Picks bit. It's you guys that make this count. It's also this that encourages me to make more videos to keep you guys up to date on the entertainment industry and the MG environment. And so, my next question, today's question of the day, is as follows. Some movies this year may not win Best Picture or anything special like that, but tend to show off some of the most advanced technology cinema has to offer. So which movie came out this year that you think will win for Best Visual Effects? Thanks.
Pacific Rim. Yeah, Pacific Rim.
Is that even a competition?
Oh, what's that movie?
That's Gravity.
Or I'll say Turbo. It was well done cartoon. Actually, it wasn't very good.
Probably gonna have to go with Gravity again because it was, you know, filmed in space and they used lots of special things to do that.
Bad Grandpa? No, just kidding. Probably Gravity again. I believed it was realistic because it was soundless. Like when you're out in outer space and there's an explosion, there's no sound. Which I don't know. And in general, things are just flying around, and and seeing it in 3D made you want to poop yourself. So
I'm gonna eliminate all superhero movies because they've all been done.
Definitely Gravity.
Probably Gravity, just because of the scale and the satellite scenes where they're crashing. It's just too much.
Something made Bollywood.
Gravity.
I really think it should go to the visual effects for Hangover when the giraffe loses its head and it slams into the windshield. That was cool.
I don't know, I haven't seen Gravity, but everybody I've talked to has said that the visual effects and the special effects in there are pretty amazing.
Not Bad Grandpa.
Well, World War Z was pretty good. I'll give you that. That was pretty good visual graphics. Maybe that one should win because I've seen it too, and it was great.
World War Z, just because the zombies, they're really lifelike, and that's in effect. Yeah, I just think it's really good.
Pacific Rim, they have a lot of animation and robots and stuff in there, so that's pretty cool.
So I'll go with Gravity in 2D. I would say not 3D. If you want to see a 3D picture, go to a play. You don't need to go to a movie theater for a 3D picture.
Well, we're here on to day 4 with Lake Camera Action's Oscar Picks bit, and we have made it over the hump with these videos. And so now it's time to present to you the question of the day. And that is, have you ever watched the Academy Awards or Oscars? And if so, is there anything about them that you would change if you had the power? Now keep in mind, some people have never seen the Oscars, so they accordingly didn't have any responses as to what to change. But for those who do watch the Oscars, there were quite a few interesting responses about what could be changed, as you'll see in the following video.
No. Not really.
Why'd you guys...
My legs got tired.
But I just hope they get a nice host this year, unlike Seth MacFarlane last year, which was extraordinarily bad.
Depends how much homework I'm assigned, since it's always on a Sunday night, but I try to watch some of it. Tuxedos should be cutoffs.
Not all the way through. I think Hawaiian wear should be mandatory.
No.
I've watched them like twice. It's pretty solid it's format, and I don't know, it's definitely puts on a show during like the awards and stuff.
Oh yeah. I think you could shorten the Oscars by about 2 hours. I think they don't need to do the best songs. I think they could do the snippets from the best songs and people would know them. I don't think they need to do the dance routines. Even though I like the hosts, I think usually their opening monologues go way too long.
I flipped the channel and turned to football.
I watch them like on and off as it goes on. I'll change the channel back and forth and kind of see what's going on. I'd have Tom Hanks maybe be the person that runs them. That'd always make it more interesting.
I don't know, maybe make them more like popular, because I never really know when they're on.
Bits and pieces.
Oh yeah, they go too long.
You.
Absolutely, I always watch the Academy Awards. Oh man, they're so long.
Yes. I wouldn't pull the people off stage so fast. Like this, some of these people, it's their life work, and they get yanked off stage in like 20 seconds. I feel bad. So give them even though it would go probably another hour, give them a little more time.
Well, you've come this far, loyal fans, and now it's time for the final day of Late Camera Action's Oscar Picks bit. Now, with this final question, we garnished the fewest responses, but certainly the most interesting. And so the question went as follows. Are you upset by the fact that the general public has little to no say in the Oscar nominees and winners? And so some of the most interesting responses came up in the following video.
Yeah, I'd like to have my opinion matter. We're a democracy, and the people should have the power.
I do think that actually the public has a say, although not directly. I think if you didn't have box office receipts, people always kind of consider what are hits at the box office when they pick their films. Obviously, like you said, The Hurt Locker, that was one of the lowest box office movies ever, but most of the rest of the best films are usually also ones that do well at the box office.
If they actually did incorporate nominees or winners, I think it would be more of a people draw, kind of like those shows where they do the dancing and the talent search, like X Factor or Dancing with the Stars. I think it would actually be more of a draw.
Not really. I think that there's plenty of People's Choice Awards, that kind of thing.
No, that's why there's the People's Choice Awards, I guess. I'm okay with that.
No, because if you look at me, I have no idea what's going on with the movies, so the general public, why would they either? So why should they really get to pick? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think that's kind of, because when you see a nominee, you just kind of think like, wow, I thought that was a terrible movie. And then the movies that you want to see usually aren't up on there.
I mean, a little bit. I think sometimes people kind of get angry at some stuff because it's like, wasn't necessarily the best choice, but someone chose it, so.
Yes, I am, because I've heard some of the winners of the stuff, and some of the movies I've seen that aren't even nominated or haven't won, that I definitely feel should at least be nominees for those type of awards, but they're not.